Hi, Karen. Thank you for your research proposal. My name is Brittany, but I just want to say I applaud you on this research proposal. I thought it was interesting and intriguing to find out possible causes of eating disorders within different cultures. And the material that I'm pulling up, at least on Liberty's databases, is that when individuals come into contact with a new culture, psychological and cultural changes are expected, including changes in daily habits and behaviors. Some of these individuals learn a new language, new values, new social behaviors. Some of them must even adapt to a new social status. In reading most of the material pertaining to immigrants coming into this country, one, to culturally move from one country to the next is extremely stressful, whether you do it with parents or not. Anytime you're uprooting from your own family and or moving your family to another country is extremely stressful. I can state that there are two things that I remember when I struggled with an eating disorder from 5 until 17. Also being impatient with this disease, that I didn't understand God's purpose for me and or the fact that my body was to be utilized as a temple for His glory. And until I understood that, I kept my perfectionism and my stressors that fed into the ED. It is paramount that when counseling those that are struggling with eating disorders, perfectionism and stressors that cause the eating disorder are going to be two things that one is going to look at addressing. Some of those things that might cause stressors could be intentional or unintentional. People might not even realize that they've caused the person that is struggling with eating disorder stress. And sometimes that information doesn't come out in counseling per se for months, even years. So I want to state that I applaud you in looking into this proposal because it is not something that I would have put past with immigrants. But what I'm finding really interesting after doing some research myself is that it's not only girls that are struggling with it, which I knew that boys do struggle with ED, but the actual numbers pertaining to the research that's being pulled up seems to be pulling higher numbers in today's society with boys and not just girls, which is really interesting in particularly. So the Bible verse that I want to share with you is from Romans, and it is Romans 12:1. Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve God's will is His good, pleasing, and perfect will for your life. I think from my own personal perspective with this is I've always viewed the past, especially since I'm 35 now, what and how God's influenced me and taken that part of my life and applied it to my setting today. This particular area of my life where I was a perfectionist, I was a dancer, I was a figure skater, I was a pair figure skater at that. I had a foreign coach who was Canadian, and foreign coaches from Russia, China, and other places all around the world. And I think that stressors and perfectionism are not only drawn from parents, but they can also be drawn from those that are a parent figure. So I applaud you in this research proposal, because that it just jumped out at me. It really did. It was something that is and always has been important to me. But I hope that future research not only looks at the stressors and the perfectionism that are usually behind eating disorders, but that in implementing positive parenting and implementing positive role modeling from coaches and other things that are on a consistent basis in line with adolescents that are coming from other countries, I think that treatment and proper education in how to speak to adolescents that are having multiple adjustments to a new country is extremely important in order to stabilize them and not put any more pressures on them than what is already being placed on them in adjustment phases from one country to the next. I can even state this in my life today, from moving back from the United States to Africa currently, that there's always that extremely stressful transition from going from a country that has everything to a country that has very little. And it's the same going back, going from a country that has very little to a country that has everything. And the amount of overwhelm feeling that one gets when one is transitioning from one country to the next is extremely stressful. So I hope that your research proposal moves forward, because it seems to me that what is being stated right now is that this is an issue that needs to be addressed so that we don't lose adolescents furthering their education and furthering their stability in life because they're affected by an ED for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.